Okay. Make sure we got everything all situated. Uh, make sure the bot's loaded up and ready to go. Got about another minute before we're supposed to go live, so bear with me, people. Let's do a sound check while we're at it. Let's do a sound check while we're at it. Okay, good. Sounds good to me. Okay. Bot's loaded up and ready to go. And he works. Okay. We're on live now. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, hey everybody. Welcome to Gamer Seuss channel here on Twitch. We're broadcasting to you today with our quarantine karaoke show. For those who've not been here before, this is just a little variety show where I like to sing a little bit of karaoke, maybe play some funny videos, and update you on gaming news around the area. Um, First off, I guess the biggest thing going on is, of course, COVID-19 is starting to ease up uh, restrictions more and more in cities across the country and places around the world. Here in Springfield, they're going into the next phase of opening up the town. I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not, but they are doing it. Um, we're going so far as to take them at their word, and we're going to go out tonight and actually sing some karaoke and see how it goes. Go out with some coworkers of my girlfriend's. So if you're out at KJ Brewski's tonight, you might actually see me sing first time in months. It looks like that's where we're going to be. For my karaoke fans out there that like to see me sing live, not just here with the YouTube videos. Um, Other places that of note, Nameless Cities back game room has been reopened and has been for a little while now. So you can go in and play games at Nameless City. Just make sure you check their new hours of operation on the door. Currently, they're not open their full hours yet, so check to see what their current hours are. Same thing now with Metagames. As of yesterday, Metagames' back room is now open with 8 tables available. Um, they are allowing up to 5 people per table. You must wear masks, and it is a $2 per hour charge to cover cleaning and servicing of that room right now. All charges and everything are temporary. It's not a permanent charge or anything. It's just to keep up with things while extra precautions are being needed to cover COVID-19. So if you want to go play live again at a game store, Metagames will have 8 tables available. Now, they will be taking advance reservations for those tables as well, because they're going to go pretty quick with only 8 of them currently available to keep up social distancing protocols. So, call over to Metagames or come in and reserve your table today. Um, as they go further and further out, and see how things go. They will open more tables and loosen some of the restrictions. You won't see me there playing as of yet because they are requiring a mask, and I can't wear a mask because of my own issues. Uh, I have a type of claustrophobia. It makes me freak out if I wear one of those masks. So I won't be there for a little while still. But you will find some games over there. And they do have different hours. And on the 24th, they're going to expand those different hours a little bit more to make it a little bit easier for people to get in and play and take advantage of the game rooms. Because they have been just opening the merchant side of things initially, but now you can come in and play. So definitely check that out here if you're a Springfield resident who is tuning in. I do show that I have one viewer, but of course, I often have a phantom single viewer here that never says anything. So I'm not going to take that as actually have somebody watching. We'll find out if they ever comment. If you are here, please drop me a line in the chat channel so I can see that you're here. Say hi. Um, for those who don't know, this is Quarantine Karaoke and Variety Show, where I sing along with karaoke tracks on YouTube, online. I will take requests. Doesn't matter how silly. I have no shame, as anybody who knows me could tell you. I'll sing anything. I'll try silly voices. Doesn't matter. Um, and we'll come in and we'll do that. I'll also play some funny videos. Weird Al Yankovic, the Merkins. Might play the trailer for an upcoming video game or board game release at different times, and maybe even some little news tracks. It just depends on if they're really involved with the nerd community, because I try to stay away from direct politics. So we're not going to touch on that. But like I said, I will touch on nerd community news sometimes. Uh, in my own nerd community news, I just finished earlier today watching season 11, the first season with Jodie Whittaker as the female doctor in Doctor Who. We just watched the holiday special, and as usual. The Doctor is always fantastic. We can't wait to see season 12, which is of course the season currently running, so it's not available as of yet on my streaming service. For those of you who are looking for Doctor Who up to season 11, you can find it on the new HBO Max. They have seasons 1 through 11 of the modern Doctor. So if you do want to catch up on the modern day Doctor, going back as far as Chris Eccleston and all the way up to Jodie Whittaker in this most recent series, go check that out there. They have several other series available. Pretty much anything produced by the WB or DC Comics, um, or HBO, you're going to find on the new HBO Max streaming service. They will be running the second season of the Doom Patrol off of the DC Universe. In fact, that used to be exclusively on DC Universe, but the second season is going to be um, co-broadcast on both the DC Universe website and on the HBO Max. And the second season will be starting here in just a few days now. I think it's the 23rd or the 25th that it's supposed to start, and they're going to drop 3 episodes right away then. But you can also see them on DC Universe. You can see the full first season now on both streaming services, but DC Universe still has some exclusive content that is not out on HBO Max as of yet. And for those of you that prefer like 4K Ultra quality, HBO Max currently does not support that, but DC Universe does. So if you want to watch it in the higher fidelity, you want to go on the DC Universe website. Plus, there's a world of digital comic books, DC news programs, and other things on the DC Universe site that you want to check out. I definitely use both streaming services myself. On the other side, of course, of nerddom is Disney Plus, which handles everything Disney, Lego, Funimation, and things of that nature. There's things National Geographic is on there, uh, things of that nature. So you can see like all the old Disney archive movies, like the original princess movies, like Cinderella and stuff like that. You can see the new ones, the live action Aladdin with Will Smith is on there, and of course Artemis Fowl recently dropped there, the new movie based on the children's novels. So it's available there to stream, and I'm pretty sure that's an exclusive stream right now. It's the only place you can get that is Disney Plus, so you can definitely check that out as well. So lots of nerddom coming out in streaming services lately, between the two big ones now being HBO Max and Disney Plus, kind of pulling away from the other more um, traditional streaming services being Hulu and Netflix. Netflix does still have a lot of their contracts in place, so they still have quite a bit of content, and as does Hulu. But it looks like if the writing on the wall is correct, it's a lot of that stuff's going to be moving over. Specifically, the content that's more Disney or DC related is going to go to the respective streaming services. As far as the final fate of DC Universe compared to HBO Max, we're not quite sure yet. I think both streaming services are supposed to continue going on, but I think there's going to be more of a focus on comic books on DC Universe and less about um, videos as much, less about movies and TV series. Although you might find more of the nostalgia series still on DC Universe, things like the old Shazam and Superboy and things of that nature, Adam West Batman. Anyway, let's get going here. We don't have any additional viewers. We still have the one Phantom viewer. I'm not sure if you're actually viewing or not, but of course, this will be put up on YouTube later within 7 to 10 days of my broadcast. So whether people watch it now live or later on recorded, it's still going to be available. But if you hear about it, call your friends. I'm trying to be here from noon to 2 every Saturday, barring any complications and things. Of course, I am an alpha tester for the new Fractured MMO, and they're getting ready to launch another alpha test. Now, when alpha testing is going on, I do supersede 2 of my normal shows. Because let me bring my schedule up here so you can see it on the screen. Normally Mondays and Wednesdays I have my nostalgia gaming show where I play old school games like Final Fantasy X, Dark Cloud 1 and 2, Ape Escape 2 is one I recently played, Qbert and Qbert Rebooted, Dragon's Lair. I've played games like those, even Elder Scrolls Online, or Guild Wars 2 or EverQuest. Those kind of games I play on Nostalgia Gaming. And that's from 10 p.m. to midnight, Mondays and Wednesdays Central Standard Time. But that's one of the shows that if I'm alpha testing, instead of doing the nostalgia gaming, I'll just continue alpha testing during those time slots. So you'll see me playing Fractured once the alpha test starts, and that's set to start either the last week in June or the first week in July, the next stage in that test. Then on Tuesdays, I have my 2 shows. The first is my RPG College from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, where I talk tabletop role-playing games and often specifically 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, but there's also some general advice on things that you can port to any role-playing game. Things like writing a character backstory, building encounters, how to make engaging NPCs. I'm going to go over that, and this one is an open forum, which means if you come in and you ask a question, I'll try my best to try to help, no matter what it is. Even if it's a game I don't normally deal with, I can still give you some generalized information, or I can look up information for my next show and answer it for you, because I'm willing to do that as well. I've played a lot of different games. I've played for 42 different years since 1978. And especially in the 80s, we tried just about every game that came out back then when we were kids in high school and middle school. We often played entire marathon weekends of nothing but role-playing games. Excuse me. So that's my first show on Tuesday. Then later on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. and go until 11 p.m., I simulcast with Left Wing Studios. Now, Left Wing Studios is a local streamer duo, which Angel and Lurch, and they'll stream themselves playing PlayStation 4 games, Xbox games, and stuff on their channel. And they stream to YouTube and Facebook Live, and they actually stream on both Tuesdays from 8:30 to 11, and then Sundays from 2 to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now, I can't simulcast on Sundays because currently my internet is not available to stream that much at that time. but that'll be changing soon. But Tuesdays from 8:30 to 11, I will stream their show. Now we did have some technical difficulties last week. If you were paying attention, they were on with MediaCom, but they had a lot of trouble getting in, and it was a lot of starting, stopping, and freezing up. I ended my simulcast early, probably right about as they finally started to settle down. I just couldn't keep up going any further, so I went ahead. But I do stay through the whole show so that I can take your comments from the Twitch channel and copy them over to their channel so they can answer them for you. We have a good time. We sometimes do the Mystery Science Theater thing where we joke about what we see on screen and kind of improv some dialogue with the characters just to make it even more silly. We just have a good time. And then finally, Saturdays is this show, which is Quarantine Karaoke and Variety Show from noon to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And like I said, there's 2 shows that I will preempt with my beta testing, and this is the other one. If I'm beta testing, oftentimes instead of doing Quarantine Karaoke, I will just be doing additional alpha and beta testing of whatever game I'm doing at the time. And right now it's Fractured. Like I said, it's supposed to start the last week in June or the 1st in July. So if you want to check that out, it's an excellent game. I definitely recommend it. If you follow me on Facebook, do take my Fractured link and use it to sign up. I can also get you a link here. Hold on. For if you do want to sign up and give it a try, I will post a link in the chat, and I'll probably be setting the bot up to post this link later. I just haven't done it yet. But if you do want to check out Fractured, follow that link. I'll get credit as your referral. And as you go along and you join and you build foundation levels, you'll get various perks inside the game, like additional skins and stuff. And you get that for recruiting new people, reading posts, and sharing posts and things of that nature, participating in playtest surveys and the actual playtest. So you want to do that as well. I'm going to go ahead and start the show off by playing the one of the promos for the Fractured MMO. A quick little preview video. It's not very long, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's see first. We're going to go to my host screen, and let me activate the Fractured video for you. And this will just give you a first view of how the gameplay is. It's just a real quick, a minute 50-second video. Okay, that was a great video. We're gonna.
Alright, I feel like I have
Uh,
given this game long enough. I have been covering Fractured for a long time now, not in a dedicated sense, no, but I have been
hold
covering it
on,
periodically through my bi-weekly MMORPG news
I'm
videos.
in the
However,
wrong
after
page.
first discussing
All right, sorry about that. There. Okay, that was a great video. Sorry, I stepped away while that was playing to get myself a soda and be ready to go. Looks like we're still just one person. Anyway, we're going to start off things now with a little bit of karaoke. Let's see if we can find one of the songs I've got queued up. Like I said, though, if you want to hear me sing something specific, especially if you want to hear me be silly, you want to try to stump me or in some way make me look foolish or anything by giving me a silly song to sing, definitely I challenge you to do it, since like I said, I have no shame. I'll sing just about anything silly, and kind of to prove that I've got a silly one kind of queued up. Let's see if I can find which one I've got there. Yeah, here's an oldie but goodie. You may not know this song, but it's kind of a fun one. It's called Disco Duck by Rick Dees. I'm going to sing that along for you. Went to a party the other night. All the ladies were treating me right. Moving my feet to the disco beat. How in the world could I keep my seat? Ah, 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 ah. All of a sudden I began to change. I was out on the dance floor dancing strange. Flapping my arms, I began to cluck. Look at me, I'm the disco duck. Disco, disco duck. Disco, disco duck. Don't be a cluck. Disco, 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 get the heavier mama. When the music stopped, I returned to my seat. But there's no stopping the duck in his beat. So I got back up to try my luck. Why look! That is disco, disco duck. Disco, disco duck. Ah, try your luck. Don't be a cluck. Disco, disco duck. Disco, disco duck. Try your luck. Don't be a cluck. Disco, 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 disco. There we go. That was Disco Duck. Classic song by Rick Dees. Um, that many of you might not actually remember. It's an oldie but a goodie. Used to be on Funny Bone Favorites. You could hear it on Dr. Demento. If you remember the Dr. Demento show, the craziest craziest of musical melodies ever to hit the airwaves. But it was a lot of fun. So we went ahead and did that one for you. Now, in the bent of funny songs, I'm going to play a funny video for you, and I'll probably sing along with it. But it's not actually karaoke because they'll be singing. If anybody has watched my shows before, they've seen this video. Possibly, I try to vary them a little bit, but I do play this one or one of its cousins each show, and these are the Merkins, also known as the Slash Street Boys, specifically when they do one of these songs, which is a Backstreet Boy cover. Um, but they change around a little bit. These are they dress up as the horror movie genre villains. You know, so Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Leatherface, and Ghostface. Um, and they sing these videos, and they're 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 big. I mean, they tour around the world now, doing this as a basically a comedy video extravaganza. And I'm going to go ahead and play one for you. And like I said, I'll sing along, but it's not actually karaoke track, so you'll get to watch the video as well. It's something I run just about all of my shows, though, as some of my filler information. Because, like I said, this is a bit of a variety show. It's just something to have fun, kill a couple hours of time, put something up on the airwaves when I'm not doing things like alpha testing and other such nonsense. Because what's wrong with a little bit of nonsense in our life? We kind of could use it, a little bit of frivolity after all the seriousness that we have to endure. Drinking a little bit of healthy. I'm having some kefir, which is a yogurt drink. This one happens to be cherry flavored. You get it at Hy-Vee. I had a parathyroidectomy a while back, and so I have to watch that I get enough calcium. So I like to supplement that with kefir from time to time. So we're going to go ahead and play the Slash Street Boys for you. So let's go ahead and put that one on, and we'll go from there. As long as you're bloody. Loneliness has always been a friend of mine. I killed all the kids in the camp. No one can escape me, there's no need to try. Wishing that you had a chance. Now you have me down, it's still a mystery. I'm left with my mom's severed head. No serious hurting or in misery. As long as I make you bleed, I don't care who you are, where you're from, don't care what you did. As long as you're bloody, who you are, where you're from, don't care what you did. As long as you're bloody. Halloween has always been my killing time. I'm here and I'm gone in a glance. Ooh, ooh, ooh. People say I'm scary with my mask and knife, changing around every chance. How many times she shot me is a mystery. You can't seem to keep me dead. Turning out the windows with the injury. As long as I kill you, Lori. Oh, I don't care who you are, where you're from, don't care what you did. As long as you're bloody, who you are, where you're from, don't care what you did. As long as you're bloody. Yeah. as long as you're bloody. I got you so much on the phone. Does my number show? When I added *69, I love you sitting when you're home alone. I'll be there, and then you'll be bloody Sydney. Who you are, where you're from, what you did, as long as you're bloody. Who you are, where you're from, don't care what you did, as long as you're bloody. You are where you're from, what you did, as long as you're bloody. You are where you're from, as long as you're bloody. You are, as long as you're bloody. What you did, I don't care, as long as you're bloody. All right. That's always a lot of fun to do that song there. Still don't see any new people coming into the room, so I'm not going to get any actual requests as of yet, but that's okay. Um, Often go through this show and it's just me, and that's okay. I don't mind acting silly. I am trying to build up my following though, so if you watch this show on recording later and you do want to help me out, come on in, follow my channel. I need 33 more followers to go affiliate. I need an average of 3 viewers throughout my shows um, within a 30-day period to go affiliate. I've got the other 2 qualifications down. So I'm just waiting to make the rest of the affiliate part of it. But come on in. We'll just have some fun. This is, like I said, just a generic little variety show where I sing a little bit, talk about a little bit about nerd news, um, and just have a good time. Speaking of nerd news, a couple of big things in the nerdosphere right now. If you've been watching Twitch gaming, they've been talking about the new release stuff, getting ready for the PlayStation 5. So a lot of stuff, new video games that are getting ready to come out for that. New hardware specs on the PlayStation 5 have been shown off, things of that nature. So check out Twitch Gaming when you get a chance. They've been streaming a lot of stuff live right now. A lot of behind the scene content about that. And then starting on Thursday this week, which was the 18th, and coming through to today, D&D Live, their annual event, has been happening, where D&D celebrities have come together to play D&D, have some fun, show off the show. We might even peek in on them a little bit right at the tail end of the show. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to do when we go offline, is I'm going to send my hosting over to direct you to the D&D channel, so that you can continue watching D&D. If you just stay on this channel, it'll just automatically shift you over to there. But D&D Live is going on, and of course they're doing it for Red Nose Day, and of course they're also dedicated to Black people, Black Lives Matter. All lives matter, and that's one of the things they want to feature here. They want to show that this is a world, and we're a world full of people, and that's all you need to know. You don't need any other differentiators other than people. I mean, everybody's a unique snowflake. Everybody is their own unique combination of pros and cons, positives and minuses, feelings, emotions, and thoughts, and that's all that really matters here. You need to take other people's thoughts and feelings into account when you make your actions, and you don't worry about the color of their skin or where they come from, because that really doesn't make any. Never mind on the quality of the person inside. And there's so many beautiful shells out there as it is. I mean, and there's so much beauty in the world that you can see, and that beauty is sometimes you might have to scratch a little deeper to see it, because some people are more beautiful inside than outside. But there's beauty in everybody. We're trying to get past the ugliness out there. There's a lot too much focus on ugliness in the world, and I'm not talking about ugliness as aesthetics. I'm talking about ugliness as an attitude and hate. And so one of the things they're trying to promote with the D&D Live this year is acceptance and being a welcoming community, because we're the nerds. I mean, Nerd Nations Unite. Uh, it's not us against them, but it's always been us kind of having to uh, justify and or hide our existence from them. Before we were the basement bandits. We spent a lot of time in our basements of our houses and in our garages and stuff, playing Dungeons and Dragons, reading our comic books, playing video games, instead of getting out and walking the mall and playing sports and stuff. And we've been the ones that were teased by bullies um, the world over. Well, we know what it's like to be ostracized. We know like what it likes to be singled out. Instead of turning around and singling other people out, now that nerd chic has come into effect. Being nerd is cool. I mean, look at Big Bang Theory. Look at such successful people as Bill Gates and you know Steve Jobs. Nerd is cool, and we're coming to start to figure out that some of our favorites, as far as actors and directors and stuff, are nerds. I mean, uh, Joe Manganiello from Magic Mike and True Blood, big, huge D&D fan. Vin Diesel, so much of a D&D fan that when the 30th anniversary uh, box set came out about 14 years ago, he wrote the forward to it. So Vin Diesel, huge nerd. Um, we've got some great nerds playing games. We got some members of Games of Thrones playing games over at the D&D Live. Some excellent actors and comedians. Brian Posehn, if you might know him, as he played the geologist on Big Bang Theory in a few episodes. There's also the guy that played Stewart, who ran the comic book shop. Uh, he was playing on D&D Live. We've got some great uh, examples there. Deborah Ann Wall was DMing the other day for D&D Live, and of course she was Karen Page on Daredevil and the Punisher and the Defenders Netflix series. She was also Bill's protege vampire on True Blood. So if you don't know who she is, that's some of her body of work. So there's a lot of great people that play. Before they passed, other known D&D players would include Robin Williams. Robin Williams is a big player of Dungeons and Dragons. Um, there's so many people that play and run and live Dungeons and Dragons out there. And you'd be surprised that how many there are. A lot of your favorite like wrestlers, like the Big Show and stuff like that, they come in and play. You got voice actors that play. Of course, the entire cast of Critical Role, they're all voice actors, and they play on Critical Role weekly on Thursdays on their Critical Role Twitch channel. And of course, some of them are actually not just voice actors, but they're directors and actors. Actors like Ashley Johnson is one of the Critical Role actors, and you can see here on Blind Spot, among other things. So she's been in a few different roles, and of course, she was a child actress that you might remember from. Oh, I'm trying to remember which show it was. I want to say Family Ties, but she was really young, and you don't necessarily recognize her now. But that was she was the younger blonde daughter in one of those shows. I do believe it was Family Ties with Michael J. Fox. But she is of course in critical role as an actress. Felicia Day, of course, has been in all the different Joss Whedon verse things. Amy Acker, not a longtime D&D player. She's actually doing her first time D&D game during D&D Live this year. But she was playing in Deborah Ann Wall's game. So taking a chance and learning. And Amy Acker, of course, we know from Person of Interest and Angel and Dollhouse. So there's lots of great actors and actresses, but not just that. We've got uh, producers and directors like the Duffy Brothers that make Stranger Things. They're of course big D&D nerds, and a lot of the people behind our Marvel Cinematic Universe and our DC Universe production are big gamers and nerds. So we're looking at nerd chic. Nerds are taking over the world, kind of, and it's a great time to be a nerd out in the community. So if you've got a chance to invite somebody else into this nerd culture, introduce them to things like Dungeons and Dragons or Marvel superheroes or just comic books in general, video games, Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, Firefly. Give it a shot because it's definitely worth doing. You're actually performing a public service by spreading the nerddom around. You're actually helping the world. Um, I'm just getting prepared for some other things here. Um, as there's a video I want to play for Mikey Mason later. We'll do. It's not a video of the song. I don't know if he's got a video for it, if it's just got this little promo thing on it. But I'm just getting it ready. I had some other things ready too. So we're going to go on with a non-funny karaoke now, because I already did the Rick D's funny one, and now I'm going to do my version of Sarah McLachlan's Angel, which of course is normally a female song, so it's a gender bender. I'm not going to try to sing it in like a high falsetto or anything, and this is really my first time singing it as a karaoke song myself, but I really always wanted to do it. I mean, I've sung it back in the audience before and everything, so I'm going to do that next as my next song. Let's see how that works out for us. But keep on listening in. If you're, like I said, if you're watching this later on the YouTube, make sure to get people over here from noon to 2 on Saturdays to enjoy just the raw silliness that I like to do here. And like I said, you'll hear a little bit about gaming news and everything as well. Nerd topics. We'll stay pretty much away from politics. About the only thing I'll say that's a little bit politically minded is I will talk about coronavirus a little bit and say how I don't think we're quite ready to come out and rejoin the world as much as we're trying to do. But that's my own personal opinion. That's about as political as I'm going to get. I'm not going to talk about anything else like that. Only to say that you need to go out and actually believe what you believe and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But other than that, we're not going to be political. We're going to try not to do hate. That's my anti-politics. I don't believe in things like rioting and things. I'm okay with being public demonstrations. We have a right to that. I'm completely okay with that. I'm not okay with looting and rioting and hurting other people, because two wrongs don't make a right. And I believe that Black Lives Matter, Native American rights matter, white lives matter. I mean, often we forget in today's age that there's a type of reverse racism that comes out from overcompensation. And I'm not going to say that one side or the other is better, because they're not. They're all the same. We are all the same. We do not need to be persecuting anybody, whether they're black or white. As the song goes, it doesn't matter if you're black or white. Um, so anyway, just to get off of that diatribe, I'm going to get into the song "Angel" by Sarah McLachlan, and I'm going to see what kind of justice I can do with it. No guarantees. Like I said, I've not done this before. If I butcher it, hey, that's okay. I'm here to have fun. So anyway, without further ado, let's go for it. Spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distraction or a beautiful release. Memories seep from my veins. Let me be empty, oh, and weightless, and maybe find some peace tonight in the arms of the angel far away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you feel. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. So tired of the straight line, and everywhere you turn, there's vultures and thieves at your back. The storm keeps on twisting. You keep on building the lies that you make up from all that you lack. Don't make no difference. Escape one last time. It's easier to believe in this sweet madness, oh, this glorious sadness brings me to my knees in the arms of the angels far away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you feel. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angels. May you find some comfort here. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. All right, The Arms of an Angel. by Sarah McLachlan. I don't think I did a great job on that. It's okay. I don't have to do a great job. This is karaoke. First off, let me talk about my philosophy in karaoke. You know, I happen to be pretty good at karaoke. I do know that. Doesn't mean every song I do is great, but I happen to be pretty good at karaoke because I've been doing it for years, and I love good music, and I got a pretty versatile voice. So I'm pretty good at karaoke, but that's not what karaoke is about. Karaoke is about getting up and having fun and just letting it go and living in the moment of the music and the crowd. You can have just as much fun messing up as you can nailing it. I mean, you can be absolutely on and the crowd will love it, but you can be absolutely off and the crowd will love it as well. And you can be there and there's no crowd. I mean, me personally, I love a crowd. I like the back and forth, but you can get up there and just sing your heart out. And there's two or three other people in the bar, and that's fine. But just pretend those two and three other people are the most important people in the world, and just sing out to them. Or on the opposite, pretend that you are in a completely in an empty space, so you can just sing your guts out and not worry about it because you're singing in the shower, you're singing with the radio, and you don't have anybody listening, so there's nobody to judge you. Because that's really what karaoke is. Karaoke is just a raw expression of the joy of music. And it can be silly songs, it can be serious songs, it can be important songs, and it can be heartache songs. You can be breakup songs. Do what it doesn't matter. You can sing any genre. You can sing, in a honky tonk. You can sing in a rock club, in a mosh pit. It don't matter. It's a great way to sing. Karaoke is one of those subsets of nerddom that not everybody automatically thinks of when they think nerds. They automatically think nerds when they think karaoke singers, but they don't think it the other way around all the time. And actually, that's even starting to go away too. But then again, nerd chic is becoming cool too. So people are starting to think less and less nerd, and just thinking more and more interesting, which is a better way to look at it. Nerd is not a negative term, though. I don't take it as a slur. I'm proud to be, and always have been proud to be a nerd. Call me a nerd. I'm less proud to be a geek than a nerd, but I'm a geek too. Geek comes from the old circus term for the sideshow freak that, and I'm using freak here in this case semi-derogatorily, so don't take that negatively. But the sideshow freak is what they were called, that would bite the head off a chicken, kind of similar to Ozzy Osbourne. So that's where geek comes from. But, nerds were always your outcast, usually more intelligent than other people. They tended to go towards the more intellectual pursuits. They played Dungeons and Dragons. They talked physics. They watched Doctor Who. You know, they would argue things like the airspeed of an unladen swallow. They'd quote Monty Python. They watched kaiju movies and old martial arts flicks, and would rip into old horror films. Your nerds were the ones that would go out and learn how to make that rubber latex makeup to make themselves up like Freddy Krueger, and they learn how to make their own props to make the Batman costume, the Captain America shield, the Silver Surfer surfboard. Your nerds are the ones that went out and did that. See, so the old joke that Dennis Leary said that doing drugs makes you do carpentry. Well, being a nerd makes you do carpentry, and it makes you sew because you go out and you make things. In this case, we make costuming because a lot of us nerds. See, I'm a part of a group called Eclectic Endeavors here in Springfield, Missouri. We're part of the Springfield Regional Art Council. We're under that 501c3 as Eclectic Endeavors, and what we do as Eclectic Endeavors is we try to promote the nerdy arts and the education behind those nerdy arts, because the nerds in our community, they don't just go out and just buy off the rack costumes and props. They make them. They run D&D games, 7 nights a week. We've got people running D&D games either online or in person, depending on things going on. But with COVID-19, obviously, in person's been a little bit lax. They get out and they get up on stage and do comedy routines and are in theater. They're the theater nerds, as you call them. Uh, they were the people that were in band and in choir, and they go to the karaoke every night. But we try to promote all of those different things. We got vendors at our events that sell crocheted goods and molded clay goods and 3D printed goods and handmade chainmail and weapons that have been forged in somebody's home forge. Um, these are wonderful, talented individuals, people who write and draw their own comic books or video games. Um, are writing their own novels out there to get published, and they're self-publishing and stuff and if they can't find a publisher to publish them, they're publishing themselves and putting themselves out there to do it. And the people that are in these things are they're becoming voice actors and extras in movies and prop designers for Industrial Light and Magic and prop designers for Jim Henson Studios and working with animatronics and all these kind of things. Nerd pastimes translate to nerd jobs so that your kids that are coming out of school with all these hobbies are not looking forward to just do you want fries with that as a career option. They're coming out with these things and you think they're wasting all their time playing these video games and dressing up as these cartoon characters, comic book characters, and collecting these comic books, but they're coming out of high school with these skill sets that lets them work on video games. They might be the next voice of a character in a video game. um, they could be a part of it. They learn the martial arts and the dance and the chibi chibi dances and stuff from different animes, and then they might be part of a motion capture for a video game that has a sequence on that, or they might join a comedy troupe that travels around the country entertaining people and bringing laughter into the world, or they might become actors and actresses, or work on the next Star Wars movie building props. Somebody had to design that Jabba the Hutt, for instance, and those Imperial walkers had to be designed over there at Industrial Light and Magic. There's people, and like you watch shows now on TV like the Lego Masters. Well, a lot of people that are Lego nerds come out to these conventions, and they'll put together these fantastic sculptures out of Legos or Lincoln Logs or Connects or out of random pieces of things they find in their house. I mean, one year, one of the things that Eclectic Endeavors does is we put on a convention in the year called the Gaming Arts Media Entertainment Expo. And at this expo, we gave away one year a battle star that was made basically from bits and pieces this guy had found around the house and painted and glued together and stuff. And it was a gorgeous replica of a battle star. And that's the thing. Oh, it does look like we got somebody in the channel. Hello, how are you? Nightmare Foxy 963. Welcome, welcome. I hadn't noticed you jump in. I wasn't looking at the right page at the right time. I do kind of bounce around a little bit, but I do try to monitor the channel. Welcome, good to see you. If you got any song requests you'd like me to sing to, especially if it's silly or embarrassing, I'll do that. For just coming in, this is, of course, my karaoke and variety show where I sing to karaoke tracks on YouTube. I play some funny videos. I talk about uh, nerd culture and nerd news. Try to stay away from politics. We did, for instance, talk about the Fractured MMO coming out. We talked about the D&D live show that's going on D&D's Twitch channel this weekend. We talked about the gaming stuff, the PlayStation 5 stuff that's getting ready to come out on Twitch Gaming. So come on out and check us out. But if you've got some funny songs you'd like to hear, you want to hear some serious songs. It doesn't have to be funny. I can do serious too. And if I butcher it or if I do it great, don't matter. I'll try just about anything. I've got no shame. I've sung, for those who want to know my singing background, I've been in a couple of cover bands, including a blues band and a CCR cover band. I've been on cast with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I was once cast on Jesus Christ Superstar as Judas. to one that didn't make it all the way to production, but I was cast as that. So I've got a few different musical credits to my name, and I've been doing karaoke for years and years since I was 16. I'm now 49 years old, so that tells you I've been doing that for about 33 years. Um, I've been doing Dungeons and Dragons and gaming stuff for 42 years, so I've actually been doing that even longer. Uh, one of these days I'll get it right, which is my, of course, ongoing joke. Um, but if you got a song you want to hear me sing, or if you want to see a funny video, you know, I'll put funny videos on. In fact, I'm about to play a funny video. It's one of my favorites that I've queued up. And then afterwards, if we get a request, I'll try to sing it. But this will give you time to make the request. Uh, I'm going to put a funny video. Now, this was recorded at VisionCon, which is another convention here in Springfield. And it was in Springfield when this was recorded, but for a short period of time, the convention moved to Branson. It is now back in Springfield, although this year all we had was a virtual con because of COVID-19. I was a presenter at the virtual con. I did two panels, one on building engaging NPCs for Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games, and one on building encounters and the underlying concepts behind the challenge rating system in the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. So I did both of those panels the first and last day of the virtual con, which is the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of May this year. And last year at our live con, I did a panel on writing character backstories. But this is Vision Con. It's a great convention. It's been going on for over 20 years between Springfield and Branson. And at one of our conventions a few years ago, I think the timing on this is something like 2009 is when it was first done. 2010, it looks like, is when it was put up on YouTube. It's called I Kissed a Nerd, and there's some of my friends that I'm not in it. I was there at that convention, but at the time I didn't know what was going on. The people doing it are called the Damsels of Dorkington, and they're a music comedy variety troupe that go to conventions doing these various things, and they're an excellent troupe of players, and they'll do things like they'll do a funny live action kind of D&D presentation, or they'll sing something like this, or do like some Monty Python-y type sketches. They're a sketch comedy group, and they're not as active anymore because they've moved kind of geographically separate from each other, but they still come out and make a couple of major cons like Gen Con. You might still see them. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to do I Kissed Nerd, which is, of course, a parody of Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl, which is, almost a nerd song on its own, just because of the counterculture that it talks about. Because a lot of people that are counterculture are automatically lumped in with us nerds, and we're okay because we love all people. Okay, we're very accepting of the LGBTQ community. Everybody that comes in is treated as just a person, and that's really what we want to do. And we're trying to get rid of any kind of gatekeeping out there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this song on. Now you might hear me kind of singing in the background, but hopefully the song will overblow me because they sing better than I do on this one. Excuse me. So without further ado, I Kissed a Nerd. I don't think I should a marching band or church conventions. That you should be a broken man. Make an impression. Just what I'm used to. Just want a big small run for here to face with you. I kissed a nerd and I liked it. Taste of her, yeah, she at me. I kissed a nerd just to try it. Oh, my boyfriend to hike it. Yeah, just as long, just as so tight. I'm in love tonight. I kissed a nerd. There's my buddy Todd. I liked it. Yeah, I don't know one of your names. You're antimatter. No, you all zero playing games and learn to vector. You not what good you'll do. Like me a slave, you'll break me run to run your sign way. Kiss the nerd and I liked it. Just like with my buddy, um, oh, what's his name? In the wheelchair is my buddy, there's Todd. Double, just like spectacle. I do believe they're sexual. Yeah. Oh yeah, the guy in the wheelchair was Joe Ryan. Some reason his name escaped me until just now. And my buddy Todd DeWitt is in there. Of course, he now lives in California. He's no longer in Springfield, but he had moved away from Springfield even before that. Of course, he met his wife, Lisa, at VisionCon, and they got married. Of course, they were introduced by another friend of mine, but anyway, they moved away, but they've dealt a lot with like Kinzer and Company. They play a lot of Hackmaster, and also Lisa, I know, often represents some Looney Labs games at conventions as well. But they like to promote everything nerddom. They're big into like Amped Guard and stuff of that nature. Todd is now in, I think it's San Francisco or San Diego area of California, which is kind of funny because I'm from California, now I'm here in Springfield, and he's from Springfield and now he's over in California. So it's kind of fun to see how these things go. But yeah, they were part of this video, and if I'd have known it was going on, I would have jumped in on it too. Although since I don't come in costume, that might have been something. Of course, then again, Todd really wasn't in costume except for that Burger King crown he was wearing. But anyway, that's a little bit of nerd culture direct from the Springfield area. Looks like we lost Nightmare Foxy 963, which is too bad. I was hoping to get like a request from them. You know, maybe to want to hear something. That's always kind of why I'm here. I want to have some fun. I want to interact with people. I'm a people person. This is part of my way to cope with um, coronavirus. I started doing this to kind of escape this kind of melange that is the coronavirus and being stuck at home. But I'm going to keep doing these things. Looks like we suddenly have 3 viewers in here. So say hi in the chat room so I know who you are. Now, one of them, like I said, is probably still that fandom viewer that never talks. But if anybody else is here, come and talk. If you have a song you'd like to hear me sing, especially if you want to hear me do something silly or butcher something, want me to gender bend a song, I'll sing that. I've sung Britney Spears. I just recently butchered some Sarah McLachlan. I've sung Weird Al Yankovic. Like I said, I was on cast for the Rocky Horror Picture Show, so I've done Sweet Transvestite and Science Fiction Double Feature and Sword of Damocles. I've done all those songs. I've done My Eyes from Dr. Horrible's sing along blog. I've done Suddenly Seymour and Feed Me Seymour from the Little Shop of Horrors and the Dentist song, or King Tut, both of them by Steve Martin. I have no problem doing silly songs. I've done Rodney Carrington, Cletus T. Judd, Ray Stevens, Weird Al Yankovic, Jeff Foxworthy. I do some silly voices. Whatever you want to hear, that's fine. But speak up in channel. Let me know you're here so I can say hi. Tell me who it is that's looking at the channel. If you want to support the channel, or more importantly, if you want to support a great cause that I support through my channel, you can do so. Extra Life is actually a cause that I support. And if you look in the chat, there's a link to my page on Extra Life if you want to donate, and that goes to the Children's Miracle Network in the local area of here in Springfield, Missouri. So what is Extra Life is a group of nerds, mainly gamers, but other nerds who come together every year to support this subset of the Children's Miracle Network through the Extra Life campaign. And these are helping children with long-term conditions, chronic conditions, terminal conditions, things like um, congestive heart failure and end-stage renal disease and cancer and muscular dystrophy and childhood onset diabetes and those kind of things, who are in long-term care facilities often. They don't get to go out and play with their friends as much. The proverbial bubble boys, as you've heard of, that have a compromised immune system, especially during coronavirus right now. Big compromised immune system things going on. So if you go out to Extra Life and you support them, we're trying to raise money for them. And my modest goal is $1,000 by the end of the year. I would love to push that slider though. So if you want to donate now, donate later, that's great. If you just want to help spread the word, that's fine too. Extra Life, we do a game day every year, and that's where we'll marathon game. Some people will run their marathon game streams for as much as 24 hours in support of Extra Life, and the whole time, of course, calling for donations. November 7th, I believe, is the game day scheduled this year. I don't know if the 7th will be a day I can go. Actually, let's look at the calendar and see what day of the week the 7th is. It is a Saturday, so I could probably, it usually is a Saturday. I don't know why I even doubted that. It is a Saturday, so I will be running at least an 8-hour stream, and I might go longer. I mean, I'm also disabled, for those who don't know. I've got end-stage renal disease, congestive heart failure, loads of other things, type 2 diabetes, um, a heart murmur, sleep apnea, you name it, I've got it. I mean, I've got just about everything but bad cholesterol, which my cholesterol is perfect. But uh, I will come out and I will stream myself gaming. Now, if we happen to be running a Fractured alpha, I'll probably just run the alpha test of Fractured the whole time. Um, and, except for like meal and bathroom breaks, I'll be there for as long as I possibly can. I don't know if I'll make 24 hours, but I will try to do at least 8 hours. And I've done 6 hours before Fractured. So And it used to be I could do quite a bit more when I was healthier. So we'll see what happens. It also depends on the interaction. The more people in the channel to talk with me, interact with me, ask questions, what have you, comments, give me some to focus on. I mean, the game itself will give me something to focus on too. I can play a lot of Fractured. It's really already engrossing me in the game. Um, and so we're going to come out and we're going to play on November 7th, and I'm going to hopefully stream that whole time, um, all Saturday. And that'll be great. So, um, anyway, this is Quarantine Karaoke, which we do every year, every week from noon to 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. The show is not just about me singing, although that's a part of it. It was partly because I was missing karaoke, not getting to go out. I'm going to try to go out tonight at KJ Brewski's here in Springfield. So if you are out and about at karaoke, you just want to come out and check it out, come out to KJ Brewski's and say hi. I don't mind saying hi. I still think we're loosening up some of the bonds of coronavirus a little too soon, but hey, if the rest of the world's going to loosen it, I mean, we're going to give it a try, see what happens. Um, so we're going to go out and just give it a little heave ho. Bunch of friends from my girlfriend's work over at T Tech want to go out and visit together because they've been working from home a lot. So they haven't seen each other too. So they want to come out and have a group outing. And of course, karaoke is the choice of group outings for them too. And KJ Brewski's was the place that we decided on. Now, if you've never been to KJ Brewski's, it's excellent. Used to be called Packers Lounge, among other things. It's good, Papa Bears. It's gone through a few different names. It is owned by my friend Kathy Marshall, my first friend in Springfield. When I first moved to Springfield, was a truck driver here for Prime. So I moved here to train with Prime's trucking. The first person who welcomed me in the entire town of Springfield was Kathy Marshall. At the time, she was working at Rum Runners, which is now the Dive Bar, which she also owns. So she recently acquired the Dive Bar as well. But that's the one she used to work at as Rum Runners. And I met her there as the bartender and waitress there. And she was my first friend. She welcomed me with open arms. Um, Such a warm, loving individual, very caring, great person. So come on out to KJ Brewski's. Kathy might be there. She might be over at the Dive Bar. You never know. Having to run two establishments, you never know where she's going to be. She can be kind of busy around town too. So you may or may not see her. I kind of live to see her when I do because, like I said, she was my first friend. I'm hoping to see her tonight. If she is, I'll sing a CCR song for her that happens to be her favorite. If anybody uh, didn't know, she told me a long time ago that's her favorite. And so I always try to sing something from CCR for her. Since I was in a CCR cover band, that generally works. Um, I'm not going to do CCR now, but I'm going to do a karaoke song. Um, and it is going to be a serious, not a funny song that I've got queued up. Um, this is Leonard Skinner, though, so it's in the same kind of southern rock, rockabilly kind of thing. Although this is Simple Man, so it's a little bit more on the rock side than others. And I've done Simple Man a few times. I'm not sure. I can rarely tell the two versions of it apart until I start singing them. But we'll see how it come out. And I don't know how good this headset mic is going to be as compared to a nice balanced karaoke mic with a good karaoke KJ. They're kind of working the balancing on the equalizer because you got to admit you always seem to sound better with a good KJ. It's not just because your voice is better or suddenly better trained or you're in better acoustics. It's because the KJ's out there working that multi-band equalizer and things, making you sound the best you possibly can, adjusting things because you need to adjust for the acoustics you're in. You need to adjust for the song, and you need to adjust for the voice of the person singing. And so, a good audio mechanic, a good audio tech, is essential, and that's what some of your best KJs are audio technicians. As I said, the KJs are out there just walking around talking and not always at their board are not always doing the best, but the ones that are at the board adjusting, whether they use a laptop or they use a full spread with CDs and stuff, you want them adjusting things and stuff to make you sound as bad. Now, some of us regulars they might have as presets, so don't necessarily look them down because they aren't always adjusting everybody. But if you're new, especially, they should be behind that board working to make you sound as best as possible. That's a little bit of karaoke behind the scenes. But we're going to do Simple Man in the style of Leonard Skinner for you right now. Well, Mama told me when I was young, come sit beside me, my only son, and listen closely to what I say. And if you do this, it'll help you some sunny day. Oh yeah. Son, oh, take your time, don't live too fast. Troubles will come and they will pass. Go find a woman, oh yeah, and you'll find love. And don't forget, son, there's someone up above. And be a simple kind of man. Oh, be something you love and understand. Baby, be a simple kind of man. Won't you do this for me, son, if you can? Strain my voice a little bit. Forget your lust for the rich man's gold. All that you need is in your soul. Yeah, and you can do this, oh baby, if you try. All that I want for you, my son, is to be satisfied and be a simple kind of man. Or be something you love and understand. Baby, be a simple kind of man. Yeah, oh, won't you do this for me, son, if you can? Oh, yes, I will. Oh, don't you worry, you'll find yourself. Follow your heart and nothing else. You can do this, oh baby, if you try. All that I want for you, my son, is to be satisfied and be a simple kind of man. Yeah, be something you love and understand. Baby, be a simple kind of man. Oh, won't you do this for me, son, if you can? And baby, be a simple man. Oh, be something you love and understand. Baby, be a simple kind of man. Oh, won't you do this for me, son, if you can? All right. All right, that was great. I still love that song. I think I did an okay job. Let me know what you think. Looks like we got another viewer in the channel again. It does say two, but of course, like I said, I always have one kind of phantom viewer. I'm not sure if it's like the system monitoring me, some kind of spider that's kind of just going from channel to channel, what have you. Could be counting me watching my own channel. Who knows? Because sometimes it does say zero, though I doubt it's me. Um, but if you're there, you're watching, give me a shout out. Let me know you're here. I mean, if it's Foxy, if you come back, let me know. If you've got a song you'd like to hear me sing, especially if it's serious, seriously silly. I mean, not serious, seriously silly. Something you want me to embarrass myself with. I don't get embarrassed, but you're welcome to try. I've sung Britney Spears. Sang Sarah McLachlan earlier. I've done Sinead O'Connor. I've sung Reba McEntire, so I don't mind gender bending a song. I don't mind doing something silly like "Right Said Fred," "I'm Too Sexy," or "Walk a Dinosaur." Um, I have no shame. These are the kind of things I'm willing to do all the time. Just when I come out, I'm a social individual, very much a social butterfly. I do what I can to come out and just entertain folks, have fun, bring joy into the world, and spread the nerdiness out there. Um, it's not a religion, but I kind of sometimes would call it the nerd gospel because you got to spread out the nerddom. Um, be it karaoke, be it gaming, be it comic books, um, being a writer, a thespian, a comedian, funny voices, cartoons, what have you. I love nerddom. I love people getting into cosplay, dress up, doing things like the Ghostbusters and the 501st from Star Wars or Star Trek. It's Firefly, the Kira Kira girls from anime. Any of those kind of things, I'm in support of it. I mean, if you're a brony, I'm not a brony, but if you're a brony and you want to come out and you want to let me know about it, let me know about your My Little Pony collection. That's all you, man. I don't mind. You be you and I'll be me, and that's great. That's the joy of the nerd culture. It's you be you and I be me. That's our philosophy, and that's what I try to do. So here in this karaoke variety show, what I do is I sing along to YouTube videos. There wasn't an exact category of just karaoke on Twitch, so I could put it under the karaoke party one. I've also put it under Twitch Sing before. But it's really a variety show. I talk about nerd news, things like the PlayStation 5 release that's coming out. I played little preview videos of that. I played a preview video today about the Fractured, the new MMO that I'm alpha testing. Talked about the D&D live event that's going on this weekend. For those that play Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games, D&D does a live event once a year to introduce the new adventure for the year. And this year they're doing the D&D Live, which is subtitled Roll with Advantage, and it's celebrating the Red Nose Day, which is helping poverty-stricken individuals, especially those affected by the coronavirus. So help them out. I do believe that we as a community need to give back to our community as best we can. Now, some of us are suffering, and we can't always give back in financial ways, but we can do it other times, donate our time, our resources, or just by spreading the word. I, for instance, am disabled myself. I have end-stage renal disease, congestive heart failure, several other conditions. So I can't go out and I can't do a whole lot, but I do like to spread the word and help out in that way. And of course, I'm a big member, productive member of our nerd community, trying to promote our nerd culture. I'm part of a 501c3 called Eclectic Endeavors. The actual 501c3 is the Springfield Regional Art Council. We're under that umbrella, and we promote the nerding arts here in Springfield, trying to show the education behind a lot of these nerdy pastimes, because our nerds, they make their own costumes, they write their own comic books, write and draw and produce their own comic books or their own novels. They do their own comedy routines, radio shows, Twitch broadcasts, streaming, video gamers, competing in esports, what have you, playing Dungeons and Dragons all the time. That's what we do. Looks like we lost our extra viewer, but we'll see if they come back. It'd be great to get some more viewers in here, especially people who they'll say hi and request, because one of the things I love to do in this show is if there's a request, I want to do it, especially if it's embarrassing, because I love to show you that I don't get embarrassed, but I love to just sing. Singing is one of my all-time favorite things to do, and I love silliness almost as much as I love singing, and so that's what this show is all about. I'm only here for a couple hours every week from noon to 2 Central Standard Time, just doing a little bit of a variety show, having a little fun, doing my what we call quarantine karaoke. May change the name now that quarantine is starting to loosen up, although I do have a fear it might be coming back. I hope it doesn't. I want to be proven wrong. Really, I do want to be proven wrong. But anyway, I come out here and I sing. You just heard me sing Simple Man, the Leonard Skinner version. I played some silly videos. I might play another silly video here in a minute. Play another karaoke song. We've got about 28 minutes to go before I technically go off. I can run over. That happens sometimes, so there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I'm a little bit more strict because I might have something planned to do right after the show. But we'll see. I know later on tonight, I'm going to be out singing karaoke live for the first time since coronavirus hit. I'm going to KJ Brewski's here in Springfield, Kathy Marshall's first bar here in town. She also owns the Dive Bar on Division. But I'll be at KJ Brewski's singing. There'll be a group of T-Tech people there that we're going to be visiting with, because my girlfriend works for T-Tech, and I used to work for T-Tech. And it was Teletech when I worked there, but it's T-Tech now. But they'll be out there singing karaoke, socializing, because they've been working from home, so they haven't had a chance to socialize a little while. And we're getting a little bit cooped up, a little, claustrophobic in here. I've got claustrophobia myself, so I know how that is. I'm stir crazy. I want to get out. At the same time, I understand and want to see us not rush to get back out so quickly that the virus hits again. So it's kind of a catch-22 there. But I'll be out singing tonight. We're going to give it a try, and that's what we're all about. If I could get a good video of me live singing there, I would put it up here on my YouTube channel. Anything you watch here on my Twitch channel will be on my YouTube channel in 7 to 10 days. Now, I do what's called video in the raw. That means I don't edit. Now, if it's just some testing stuff, or if nothing really happened during a show, I might not transfer it over. But I might just delete it. But I don't go through the show and I don't edit things out. No editing is done. Um, in fact, the stream, I don't know why, but it actually says the wrong thing under it here. It still says Nostalgia Gaming, Dark Cloud 2, and Qbert under my thing. Let me refresh my screen to make sure. I'm looking at my screen monitor. Okay, no, it shows Quarantine Karaoke. It just had not changed the title track um, for what I was doing right now. So I was a little worried because I knew I had changed the stream information here to show reflect my current show. Um, there is no variety show or karaoke channel on Twitch. So for the channel, I did pick Karaoke Party this time. I've also used Twitch Sing as my channel for this. But I do general nerd news and stuff. So sometimes my channel might just be Dungeons and Dragons. You never know. Because a lot of my stuff is based on Dungeons and Dragons. If you've not been to my shows before, if you look in the lower uh, right hand corner of my screen, you see my schedule, but I'm going to go ahead and blow that up for you. This is my schedule every week. Now, some of this is subject to change. My Monday and Wednesday show, Nostalgia Gaming, is 10 p.m. to 12 a.m., so 10 to midnight at least. Sometimes I go over. Sometimes I start and end a little earlier too, depending on people being there. I might get there, start early, and then if people don't show up and I don't get that interaction, I might quit a little early. Or if I start to fall asleep because there's nobody here engaging me, but I try to be here from 10 to midnight every Monday and Wednesday. Now, if I am alpha testing a game, if an alpha test is running, I will supersede Nostalgia Gaming and do my alpha testing during that block instead. But otherwise, during Nostalgia Gaming, I'll play things like Final Fantasy X, Dark Cloud 1 and 2, um, Elder Scrolls Online, Guild Wars 2, EverQuest, RuneScape, things of that nature. Um, Older video games, Qbert Rebooted, Ape Escape 2 I played once, Dragon's Lair 2 I played once, through PlayStation Now, although it kind of buffered quite a bit, so I don't know if I'll do that one again. Unfortunately, it's hard to run PlayStation Now and stream at the same time because it's streaming the game to me to play it, and then I'm streaming the video of the game out to you guys, and my internet can't handle both streams, both coming in and out as much. It's better when I can download the game, but I don't always own the full version of a game to do that. That's true with Dragon's Lair. Some of the games on PlayStation Now will let me download to play, though, like Ape Escape 2 and Qbert Rebooted. So when I play those ones, I can use a downloaded version and play for you. And then, of course, I own Dark Cloud 1 and 2. Um, uh, okay, no big deal. Just an alert that my Pokemon Go got my location. That's fine. I do play Pokemon Go. I'm not a real active player. I've not played in months, actually, really. But I do have my phone set up to play that. But anyway, that's my Monday and Tuesday shows. I mean, Monday and Wednesday shows. Tuesday, my big show, the one that got me started here, is my RPG College. For those who don't know, I run the RPG College table at GAME every year, the Gaming Arts Media Entertainment Expo, where I spend the whole weekend running a table dedicated to teaching people about role playing games. Uh, Not just Dungeons and Dragons, but I do focus a lot on Dungeons and Dragons. But I teach all kind of role playing games. I will introduce you to different games, show you how to make characters, write backstories, how to play the game, the different rules, the different etiquettes involved, ways to run the games, how to be a dungeon master or game master for a game, or storyteller, or whatever moniker you want to use. I'll teach you some of that at the RPG College. In fact, one of the things I do run is an underage game. It's fairy tale themed and it's for every kids under the age of 18. I will take up to 8 kids under the age of 18, and each child can have up to one adult companion with them that they can either sit in or play as well around my table. It's a 2 hour game. We play for an hour, then I hand out snacks, then we play another hour. Um, so I've got pre-generated characters, so they don't have to make any characters. We go through a simple scenario, introducing them to the game. It's been very much synchronized, so there's no quote unquote killing. Instead, when you defeat a monster, the curse is lifted off of them and they become the good creature that they had been corrupted into being, the evil creature. So, like, orcs and goblins turn into elves and gnomes. And that's kind of the theme of the game. And they play different characters like Hansel and Gretel, and Brain from Pinky and the Brain as Alan Adale, the bard. You've got Doc and Grumpy, the dwarves, as dwarven cleric and a dwarven barbarian. We have Mickey, the sorcerer's apprentice, as a wizard. You know, so it's just a nice bit of fun for the kids to come in and play and get introduced to the game in a much more synchronized level without as much of the focus on killing, in case some parents are a little bit hesitant to get their children started that way, and at least get them to see if they can handle it before they go into the little bit more graphic parts. So I run that kind of thing at my gaming table. But the RPG College is my show based on that table, where I teach all things tabletop role playing games. Um, I also do a DM roundtable panel there. I do panels at other conventions like VisionCon, where I did 2 panels this year during virtual VisionCon. I did a panel last year at VisionCon on writing character backstories. This year I did engaging NPCs and building encounters. Both of those were mainly around 5th edition, although the NPC works in any role playing game. Uh, so I focus on tabletop role playing games and the tools that help those, like Roll20, Campaign Cartographer, D&D Beyond. You know, those kind of tools. I kind of help teach you how to use some of those things as well to benefit your game. Uh, Tell you what kind of things you want to buy if you're just starting out as a gamer, as a player, if you're just starting out as a DM. What are the best things to get you started at? Good adventures to start, things of that nature too. Then later on, after, and that one's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. All my times are Central because I'm here in Springfield, Missouri. Then from 8:30 Central Time to 11 p.m., we have Left Wing Studios, which is another local pair of streamers. They stream to Facebook Watch and YouTube directly, but they don't stream to Twitch. So what I do is I simulcast their Tuesday show to Twitch, so they get 3 venues, and they've been playing. Last of Us is what they've been playing, but they'll stream different games from PlayStation and Xbox onto the streaming service for you, so you can play along, listen to them joke, and have fun while they play. And I'll be there monitoring, and we'll do kind of a mystery science theater thing sometimes, where we change the dialogue. There, we'll talk over the characters as they're playing, and just have some fun, be silly, kind of slapstick, and everything. And if you say a comment in the Twitch channel, I'll copy it over to their channel so they can answer any comments that are made if they see it, because it depends on how fast the chat really is going at any given time. But they do try to interact with the chatters, so it's great. They also do a show from 2 o'clock to about 5 o'clock on Sundays, but I can't stream that one currently because my girlfriend's working from home at that time and she needs our internet for that, so I don't have enough bandwidth to really do that kind of stream. Um, but that's what I do on Tuesdays. And they can sometimes run past 11 o'clock. And sometimes there is some technical difficulties with anything with Twitch and the internet goes. Last week, for instance, Mediacom was having a lot of difficulties and they were not getting a lot of throughput. And it took them a while to even get connected. So they were a little bit late getting started. I ran a few videos while I was waiting for them to get started just to kill some time on my channel. But their channels didn't even get started at all until oh, closer to 9:15, I think it was, but by the time they actually got going. And I cut out a little bit early because they were still having a few issues, and I just it wasn't going real well that week. But we're going to try to go through that every week, and that's not something we can control here. When you're dealing with Twitch broadcasts, you do have to deal with internet service providers, unfortunately. And there's been a lot of kind of internet hiccups and stuff lately. More demand because more people are staying home and on there computers right now than in previous times, and they're still trying to balance the load. Then finally, Saturday, I have this show from 12 to 2 where I do a variety of things, talk about nerd news, sing a few songs, play a few videos, have a little fun, joke around, and everything. Now, when I'm alpha testing, um, like I'm going to be alpha testing Fractured, the MMO, when the next alpha opens, which is supposed to be the end of June, beginning of July, last week of June and first week of July, my karaoke, quarantine karaoke, and my nostalgia gaming shows will be put on hold, and instead I'll be doing more alpha testing of that, but I'll be streaming my alpha test because they give us full permission to stream the alpha test out there so you can get a taste of what's going on even if you can't alpha yourself. And then of course near the end of the test of each testing phase they do an open kind of a burn-in or a stress test at the end where they open it up for 3 or 4 or 5 days where anybody can join in and play and alpha test. And so, and we'll keep you updated on that. If you want to join in on the alpha test for Fractured, you can follow the link that I'm posting in the chat channel right now. And that'll take you to Fractured where you can sign up with my referral. And then what you do is you build your foundation levels on the website for doing things like reading the news articles and referring friends and stuff, and they can earn you some additional skins and other in-game perks like a wolf mount at certain levels and stuff. And so those are things you can earn outside of the game once the actual full launch happens. The perks don't kick in until then, um, but it'll earn you forum titles and other cosmetic stuff. It's not a pay to win kind of thing as much. You can pay to get to support the game's development, and different pay levels will get you into different access levels of the alphas and beta testing. I'm an alpha tester currently, so I got a chance. I was just a beta tester. I recently upgraded, so that's a thing. And I actually supported them in their initial Kickstarter campaign and got beta test access back then. And then I've gradually built it up to an alpha testing spot by paying just a little bit at a time. Um, but you can come in and enjoy Fractured, the MMO, and that's excellent. And that's like I said, end of this month, beginning of next month, I will be doing superseding both my Monday, Wednesday nostalgia gaming and my Saturday quarantine gaming shows with Fractured Gaming. And then, other than that, I have unscheduled shows that I pop in throughout the week when I find the time, the bandwidth, and the opportunity. I will jump on and broadcast. And I might do an extra RPG College, or I might be streaming a game. Those are the main two things. I've also occasionally I've done once the Foodie Nerd show where I did a review of 10 places here in town in Springfield that you want to go to eat for good quality cultural foods. I rated, I gave my top 10 places to go that were not fast food uh, to talk about. And these are some great places. I talked about things like Zaka's for Indian food and Everyday Thai for Thai food. Um, Caesar's Old Mexico for Mexican food. Smokin' Bob's Barbecue, which to us is probably the best barbecue we've had so far here in this town, and so on. So these are great places to go to eat, especially if you like to try different cultural cuisines. And I'll come up and I'll tell you about that too, because I am a bit of a foodie. I cover all kinds of nerddom. That's what my channel is about. It says Gamer Seuss. It should be more like Nerd Seuss. Um, but I'm called Doc everywhere that matters. His Doc is for Dr. Seuss's and Theodore Geisel, but it's also for Doc as in Doctor Who, the Doctor as in Doctor Who, Doctor Who, Doctor Strange, Doctor Emmett Brown. Any of the nerd doctors can count. Doc Holliday, I don't care. but they just call me Doc for short. And that's what we're going to go with. I know that, like I said, I've only got one viewer showing right now in the channel, which probably means it's just that phantom viewer. But this will be moved to YouTube in 7 to 10 days. And so if you're watching the rebroadcast of YouTube and stuff, you can still follow the link in the YouTube copy of the chat channel. And I assume, I don't know if it shows up in the chat channel or not in the YouTube copy. If it does, you could follow that link. Otherwise, if you friend me on Facebook, it's Gamersus, GAMERSEUSS, like the top of the channel. Find me on Facebook that way, or Clyde Star, which Doc. If you friend me on Facebook, I will post a link to the Fractured website so you can use my referral code to get in there. I especially, every time I'm going to be broadcasting live Fractured, I do post on Facebook, and I broadcast the new news from Fractured as well on Facebook constantly. So there's lots of ways in which you can find out about Fractured through me. Anyway, I'm going to play a funny video that I had queued up that I talked about last week. It's called The Best Game Ever. It's by a comedian called Mikey Mason. He's a nerd comedian. If you've ever been on YouTube and watched the video, She Don't Like Firefly, of course, talking about Joss Whedon's Firefly, about a guy who breaks up with his girlfriend because, as nerdy as she might be, she's not into Firefly. Well, that's Mikey Mason. He also does Saturday morning cartoons. It's a kind of a montage of the Saturday morning cartoon themes, and he does it in all their voices, which is really great. But this is a one he did. Is basically based on his Dungeons and Dragons game. It's called The Best Game Ever, and I'm going to go ahead and play that for you right now.
The best game ever. The traps and riddles were so clever, and hardly any of our party even died, except for George, but he deserved it. He kept doing really dumb shit when we split his magic items up. I swear to God, he almost cried. And when he came back in the game with his new gnome thief mage assassin, we took all his gear again and sold him as a slave. Best game ever. It was the best game ever. I took his set of +4 leather, then we hopped on board the plot train, let it take us for a ride. But then George came back, and this time he was a druid who refused to leave the forest, but always tried to start a fight. And that's exactly what he did with this poor farmer on the outskirts of the town, who turned out to be a god in disguise. Best game ever, 'cause George's druid's head got severed. Then he came back in the game while we were going through this cave to slay a dragon. This time he played a barbarian who hated both our magic users, but carried a sword of magic flame. And when we'd reached the dragon's lair, he argued tactics for an hour, till we fed him to the dragon. Then we killed it in 3 rounds. Best game ever. Best game ever. tavern. There was George as a half-elf, half-orcish monk illusionist. And as we counted out our treasure, he insisted on attempting to seduce the barmaid, laughing as she cried and raised her fists. Then we all picked up our weapons, and as he died he swore he would never game with us again as long as he lived. Best game ever! Saved a barmaid, slayed a dragon, got some treasure, raised a flagon, and we racked up the XP, and we will never have to deal with George's bullshit in another game again. That is at least until next week, because he is the DM's brother, and their mom won't let us game here in their basement anymore unless we say that he can play. And yeah, I know you had to be there, but I swear by all that's holy, victory was never sweeter than it was today. Best game ever.
All right. Okay. That was some fun, huh? All right. Best game ever. We only got about 4 minutes left. Now, I went to thefump.com, and while we were doing this, I haven't actually listened to it yet because, of course, my audio is being used to, excuse me, my audio was being used to actually play that for you, so I didn't listen to it. Let's try this again. Sorry, I'm trying to get something off my phone. But there's a video from the Fump, which is the Funny Music Project. And it intrigues me enough that I want to try it. Let's see if I can get us to it. Let's see. Copy video URL. Let's go ahead and put it right here. Paste. This is called Tune Soon.
Dum diddy dum, why we gotta be dumb?
Too soon.
It's much too soon. Some folks refuse to stay home.
Don't wanna stay indoors no more.
Quarantine is too hard.
Wanna go bowling and get my hair done.
They say it's all
overblown. Dum diddy dum diddy dum diddy dum dum. Is it gone? Is it gone? Dang, it ain't gone. But out they all run too soon.
They go out in defiance against all reason and science. So proud of their non-compliance. Weeks of quarantine, now they all want haircuts. Screaming hoax, bearing arms, they're protesting and not distancing. Then there's the Trump team.
Oy vey, holy crap.
They're nuts, trying to sell hydroxychloroquine. Much too soon to virus is still multiplying. They don't mind grandma dying, but I still kinda like mine.
Open up, we need to buy stuff, and we listen to Trump too soon.
And when the cases start spiking, they'll say, sorry, we didn't understand. But pandemics with an exponential rate of transmission should not be taken lightly. Was it worth that trip to Disneyland?
Want some fun, we gotta have fun. Good Lord, are we dumb?
Too soon, you refuse isolation, and you fear vaccination. I will plan your cremation.
Is it gone? Dang, it ain't gone. Want some fun, we gotta have fun. Open up, second wave coming up. We need to buy stuff, and we listen to Trump, or even if we don't, we gotta go out and earnestly protest the egregious and ongoing racial bias in law enforcement and in society in general, which is commendable to protest, but we still need to be careful and stop confusing peaceful protesters with rioters and looters who should also wear masks. Actually, they should just stay home and not riot and loot, but in any case, too soon.
Okay, that was kind of amusing. A little bit more political than I like to get, but that's okay. It still kind of sent a message I'm willing to get behind. I'm not absolutely sure that we're not speeding through things a little bit too fast myself. So that's good. We're at 2 o'clock. We don't have any other viewers. I'm going to go ahead and log out for now. I want to thank anybody that does listen to this later on YouTube. We will, like I said, sometimes go more than 2 hours, but I don't have any viewers here, so I'll go ahead and clear up the airwaves right now and go grab a bite to eat for lunch and let you guys do what you want to do. I'm going to forward you to the D&D channel as a raid channel. So that's going to be the raid channel for when we log out. But anyway, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for coming in. It's been a great time, been a hoot. I'm going to set you to raid now.